Alright, say what you will about John Cena. God knows I have. You guys that have been following me a long time know this. After the effort he put through tonight in the main event, after having his nose clearly crashed across his face, I gotta give the guy a little bit of respect. But in other news, Summer Mania is running wild, brother. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your Raw review for the 20-whatevereth of July 2015. We are steamrolling our way to SummerSlam, which I'm going to be referring to as Summer Mania from now on, and that's just a thing. That's a hashtag I'd like to get off the ground. If you want to join along with me, you don't have to, obviously, but please, if you choose to, please get on Twitter, hashtag Summer Mania. Anyways, moving forward, we start off the show. A lot of people would say, oh my god, we started with the Authority again, but it was good. It only lasted about 10 minutes. We come out there, we talk about SummerSlam. We make the grand announcement, which a lot of us already heard already, that SummerSlam is going to be 4 hours this year, and that's not including the pre-show. So it's basically getting the WrestleMania treatment. Now, combine that with the NXT show the night before, that's going to be an amazing weekend of wrestling, is it not? We talk about Taker versus Brock. They didn't really go anywhere with it, but they mentioned it. It's the headlining match of the show, and there's going to be 4 hours of wrestling to go along with it. Sorry, guys. Out of breath. There we go. Tonight, there's going to be a night of firsts. We're going to see Ambrose versus Big Show, which has me concerned. We're going to have Paige versus Sasha Banks. We're going to have Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton, and Alicia Fox and Nikki Bella versus Becky and Charlotte, which tells me a few things. We're going to get a lot of great matches. We're going to see 2 Divas matches, and Naomi's not in either one of them, so I'm a happy kid. Rollins comes out, talks some old shit about WrestleMania, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, talks some shit about Battleground, how he said, you know, I told you so to the fans, how he went into Battleground against Brock Lesnar with no backup, and nobody believed in him, and he still escaped with the title. I'm the best WWE World Heavyweight Champion in history. Cena comes out, he says, you're an arrogant jackass, saying you're the best of all time is such a slap in the face and a bit of disrespect to all the other champions that came before you and before me. You're just a joke. He addresses Triple H and Stephanie McMahon because he knows that Rollins won't give him what he wants. But Cena says to Steph and Triple H, you guys know what's best for business. You guys know what the fans want. Give them another first tonight, Cena versus Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. Stephanie asked the people cheer. I guess this is a little bit of an indicator as the positive effects of Cena doing all the open challenges and working with all the NXT guys and whatever, that he's got more support than he usually would. They all say yes, they cheer. She says no, she says it's the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, you have to earn it. Triple H says nobody wants to see a world title match on Raw, which is a bit confusing, but I will give you guys tonight Cena versus Rollins for Cena's US title as the main event, which sure. Anybody that remembers my comments a couple years ago, what year was it? I can't remember what year it was. The year that the Big Show fought Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Once you've been the world champion, I have a hard time... Mosquitoes, fuck it. I have a hard time believing that you want the mid-card title. If you are currently holding the WWE Championship, I definitely don't believe that you want a mid-card title. But, you know, it is what it is. We start off the night in the ring with Ambrose versus Big Show with Miz on commentary, because the Miz and the Big Show have an Intercontinental Championship feud without the Intercontinental Champion for reasons. Ambrose starts with chops and punches, shoulder block by the Big Show, and Big Show is dumped out of the ring as the match just starts getting kicked off. Dropkick and a suicide dive by Ambrose. Top rope nothing out of the ring because Big Show slaps him. Sorry, guys. Ambrose goes up for a top rope nothing. off the top rope to the outside. And I say it's a top rope nothing because Big Show basically swats him out of midair. As we go to commercial break, he basically falls out of the ring like roadkill. Standing single leg crab by the Big Show is really, really nice. Ambrose, because Big Show is so tall and he's got him in the crab, he's got him hung up. Basically, it's the same as if you can imagine somebody being in the Brock lock. Ambrose is upside down, height of the Big Show and all that. Ambrose unties the Big Show's boot, and while Big Show's fixing his boot, Ambrose works on his knee with a lot of kicks. Ambrose jumps on Big Show's back for a backpack-style sleeper, which is nice, and a hangman by Ambrose, which is also nice, because it's working the neck, it's working the throat, but it's also taking the air, the oxygen, out of the big guy. It's a cool story. It's more engaging than I would ever think a Big Show match would be, to be honest, but all the credit to that goes to Ambrose. Of course, Ambrose tries another chop rope nothing, where Big Show catches him, and you figure he's going to turn it into a slam or a chokeslam. He just lifts him up and falls straight backwards. Now, I know when he was a babyface, back in the day, he did that face plant a lot, and it used to be called, I believe it was called the Matinee. I'm not entirely sure, but that's when he was tag team partners with Spike Dudley, so there's your timeline. Chokeslam is countered into a DDT by Ambrose, as it was a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, showing a little bit of continuity. Chops and jabs by Ambrose while Show is on his knees. Chokeslam by Show. Twice, Ambrose rolls out of the ring, barely scrapes himself back into the ring by a count of 9. Show super kicks Ambrose out of the ring again. Spear by Show on the outside, and you figure Ambrose is dead. He gets in by 9. Ambrose hits suicide dive on the Big Show on the outside, but Show blocks it with a weapon of mass destruction punch, leaves Ambrose on the outside, and he gets the win by countout. It's an interesting story here because Big Show is basically walking around the ring like he knows he can ragdoll Ambrose, that he doesn't even want to waste his time pinning him. He just wants to throw him out of the ring because he can. And it's like he specifically wants to win by countout. Ambrose, on the other side, is basically, he's being the gutsy, heroic guy, and especially after the match, you see Ambrose still determined, still pulling himself up on the guardrail. Big Show tries to spear him and puts himself through the guardrail. Now, I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. I'm going to get an immense amount of heat for this, but I'll tell you what this reminds me of. You guys know that I am a mark for Jeff Hardy. You guys know that I am 100% mark. He could, other than, we all know that main event in TNA, there's not much Jeff Hardy can do wrong in my books. I will say that Ambrose reminded me of Jeff Hardy in this match, in the sense of, do we remember the ladder match that Jeff Hardy had with the American Badass Undertaker? It's the first time Jeff Hardy got anywhere near a world title. And he got his ass fucking owned by the Undertaker. Undertaker, who's just, tearing it up, and Jeff Hardy, who's this little scraggly kid at the time, who everybody thought was nuts. See the comparison there. And even after the match, even when he's got nothing left, Taker's halfway up the ramp, he's still pulling himself up by the top rope with the microphone, and you can still hear, if you watched it at the time, you can still hear him taunting the Undertaker, because his voice cracks, and he says, "Dead man! I'm still breathing." And that whole moment, and there's that moment, like, we weren't going to get respect out of the Big Show, but the Undertaker back in the day, in that moment, came back. He's about to lay into Jeff Hardy again. He raises his hand. He says, you're one tough motherfucker, or whatever the hell he says to him. Big Show doesn't remind me a thing of the Undertaker. Don't mistake me on that. But Ambrose's performance in this particular match, the way he ragdolled better than Dolph Ziggler in this match. That's a fact. That's a fact. I know that's Ziggler's claim to fame, but he ragdolled better than Ziggler in this match. And Dean Ambrose, who I'm a fan of, you guys know this, but for me to sit here and say that Dean Ambrose reminded me of Jeff Hardy, who personally, on a very personal mark level, is one of my favorite wrestlers that there's ever been, is high praise coming from me, and I really, really like this. And like I say, for me to be this engaged in a Big Show match says something. But anyways, moving on. We have a highlight reel of all the things that have happened between Neville and Stardust. I don't understand why they're pushing this feud so much when Stardust is supposed to be feuding with some dude from Arrow at SummerSlam, which I think is dumb. I think if they take this rivalry to SummerSlam, it'll be a lot better. But if they're doing this celebrity gimmick thing, I don't know why they're pushing the Stardust thing so much. That's just a thing. We have Neville versus Fandango, which is going to be a short match, is it not? Fandango starts with a headlock and a clothesline, slaps, and a gory special. from Fandango. Oh, yes, it's good. Jawjacker and kicks by Neville. Twisting corkscrew suicide dive by Neville, and a red arrow gets the win for Neville. I'm not even going to try and quote it because I'm going to have to talk about Bray Wyatt later on. Stardust shows up on the Tron, gives a very comic book, please be my hero, I'll be your hero. All this sort of thing. He's interspersing stuff from his dad's old promos into this, which it's on the one hand it's really cool to see. It's not only throwback, but it's him tossing something up for his dad, which is cool. But the way it interweaves itself into his already crazy promos is something to behold for sure. I could tell you everything that he said, but obviously the delivery would not be there. You guys know this. You guys know when I tried to quote Bray Wyatt on the way to WrestleMania, it didn't work because I am not Bray Wyatt. I'm definitely not Stardust either. Paige will be on the Austin podcast next Monday on the WWE Network for, blank 99, which I'm 100% okay with. Speaking of Paige with Becky and Charlotte in her corner, takes on Sasha Banks with Naomi and Tamina in her corner, and that's the closest Naomi got to a ring tonight, which again, I'm sorry, hashtag flying chocolate camel toe of death does not need to be on my television screen. Oh, yes. Collar and elbow tie-up starting to take down by Paige. Collar and elbow tie-up again, and the collar and elbow tie-up goes so deep that it turns into a gator roll, and they both end up outside the ring, teasing a 3-on-3 brawl on the outside, but it doesn't last very long. Paige tosses Sasha, throat first, into the top rope, and then when she rebounds and lands on her knees, hits her with a running knee, which is fantastic. Head and arm snapmare by Paige. It's if you can picture a snapmare where people either do it by the arm or by the head, she does it by both, which is great because it sets the tone for maybe working on the head or maybe working on the arm later on in the match. Psychologically wise, she's opening herself up for multiple opportunities. It's great. Multiple rapid elbows in the corner by Paige. Where she backs her up and throws the three elbows. It's all that sort of. It's the same thing Matt Morgan used to do, except Paige does it a lot better because it's Paige. Drop kick by Paige, and a kick is countered into a faceplant by Paige, Fez press with headbutts by Paige, fallaway slam by Paige, and a seated armbar by Paige. Kitchen sink by Sasha and a super kick by Paige. Paige, off the top rope, takes out Team Bad on the outside. Sasha bails to confer with her teammates on the outside. Paige says, fuck it, you're all there, you're all my enemy, I'm gonna take you all out at once, and that's how we go to commercial break, which is great. Sasha rides a headlock because she's a bad guy, guys. Don't forget, you got great people like Sasha Banks who are even going to remind you, in case you forget, here's my headlock, I'm a bad guy. Paige eats turnbuckle and a top rope choke by Sasha. Gut check by Sasha, that weird little double knee drop that she does. I know that the gut check is the name for that weird ass code breaker to the gut thing that Darren Young uses. I don't care. I'm using the name gut check for this double knee stomp thing that Sasha does because it works so much better. Second rope choke by Paige and a clothesline. Straight jacket choke with a post is beautiful by Sasha. Boot by Paige and her patented... Sorry, I can speak, I swear. Boot by Paige and her patented Paige 10 knees in the corner, running knee by Paige. Sasha head scissors Paige into the second turnbuckle and hits a running double knee to the face. It's beautiful. Banks statement gets the win for Sasha Banks, and even though I'm a Paige fan, this does not hurt my feelings whatsoever. Great match. And it went about 20 fucking minutes. That was your first hour main event, guys. The Divas Revolution, and I understand. I think it was Nature Girl 30 that said on Twitter tonight, can we stop talking about the Revolution and just let it happen? I understand that mentality, but at the same time, the Divas Revolution that's happening right now is great. We're getting multiple matches per Raw. We're getting longer matches on Raw, and this was your first hour main event. So we're doing good shit here. Rusev. Now we get into some shit. Rusev comes out with Summer, talks about sexy Summer, and talks about, she's the new and improved Lana. She says she knows the glory of obeying a man, and I know the glory of giving her gifts. Gives her 2 gifts. The first one is a puppy that they're going to name Dog Ziggler. Because it pisses on itself, and it's neutered, and it's, small, and it's got small legs, and all that sort of thing. The second present we're going to name Lana, and it's a headless fish. And Twitter does the rest with that one. It really, really does. I saw comments not only by myself, by the British Fist, by my buddy OK Fabe. I think I saw some from Heel Steven, I'm not gonna lie. Lana comes out, he says, women lead, they don't need to obey. You will not succeed in your goal, because I know your goal is to bring me down. Everybody in this arena tonight sees right through you. You take her, you make her up like me, you even call her Lana occasionally, and you look at me while you're making out with her, which is very, very creepy and weird and whatever. You try to make her into me. You've lost every match you've had since you left me. And then she locks an arm lock on Summer, putting her face first into the fish, and Summer sells it like grim death, which is great. And then she slaps Rusev and leaves. It's like fucking Lana just went in there and owned shop, which is great. Which is good. We saw a replay of last week's Taker and Brock Lesnar brawl. Lesnar will be on Raw next week. It's good. I do have to say that the funniest thing of the brawl last week was, of all people, R-Truth trying to talk some sense into Brock Lesnar. Just for the lulz, I want to see Brock Lesnar versus R-Truth. We get the announcement that Hell in the Cell this year is in LA in the Staples Center. Now, that's fine. I mean, if I lived in LA, I might go see Hell in the Cell, but you got to look at it in its context. Up until this year, LA and the Staples Center specifically have hosted SummerSlam, which is billed, especially this year, as the biggest party of the summer. It's the sort of half-year WrestleMania, especially, as I say, as it's being treated this year. They've hosted SummerSlam for, like, what, the past 6 years? Who did they piss off that now they get a consolation prize like Hell in the Cell? I just have to ask that. I asked it on Twitter earlier today, too. Lucha Dragons versus Los Matadors, which I didn't do a play-by-play for. Because Lucha Dragons versus the Matadors, you know what you're going to get. It's great, but I'd be pausing it every 5 seconds if I tried to actually write a play-by-play. And it's just two awkward primetime players are on commentary, and the theme of that just seems to be Titus O'Neil making fun of everybody. Which is great, but it's getting old. New Day come out for the distraction. New Day come out with a sign over Kofi Kingston's head, says the real dad of the year, taking a shot at Titus O'Neil and some award that he got a couple weeks ago for him actually being the celebrity dad of the year, which, in all fairness, you know, good for Titus O'Neil and good for them making it part of the storyline. There's a distraction, the Lucha Dragons win. So now we have a story where lost my train of thought, where the New Day just lost the tag team titles not too long ago. They failed in their rematch, but they are still very much fresh in the title picture. You got the Matadors, who should get a title shot because they beat the Primetime Players last week, and you got the Lucha Dragons, who just beat them, so surely they should jump ahead. So the only thing, and I said this on Twitter too, like I'm regurgitating a little bit here, but it's like, gee, do you think we're gonna have a 4-way at SummerSlam? Gee, do you think the Lucha Dragons are gonna win at SummerSlam? That's a thing. Wyatt versus Harper is, I wrote it all down, but I'm not gonna say it, guys. It's a Wyatt promo. Basically, the whole idea is, you know, he treats Luke Harper like a pet. He nurtures him. He fixes him because he saw how the world broke him and all that sort of thing. Oh, excuse me. And basically, when a pet wants to leave, you let them leave, and you see them come back with scars because they realize the world has teeth, and they embrace you, and they are stronger than they were before, and you're a tighter unit. And there's all kinds of family metaphors, and it really, he mocks the connection between Ambrose and Roman Reigns. He says, if you cared about your brother if you cared about your brother Dean Ambrose, you would tell him to stay as far away from this as possible because our problem is with you, not with him. Basically trying to keep it a 2-on-1 advantage psychologically, but really laying the chalk outline for the tag team match that we're going to get at SummerSlam, which is great. And like I say, I tried to write down some of the promo. I'm not gonna try and recreate a Bray Wyatt promo, the same as I'm not gonna try and recreate a Stardust promo. Bottom line, by tomorrow morning, they will be on YouTube. Go check them out if you want to, because they are great. Luke Harper getting some mic time as well. Also a good thing. Under the guidance of Bray Wyatt, is he still going to go out and make singles accomplishments like he did with the Intercontinental Championship? I don't know. I hope so. People are saying that Wyatt and Harper are going to go for the tag team championships. People are also saying that Eric Rowan, who's out on the injured reserve list right now, is going to be replaced by Leo Kruger in the Wyatt family, which we know how the mainstream fans are. They're going to chant Adam Rose at him until they're hoarse in the mouth. But I could see Luke Harper and Leo Kruger being a good tag team under the guidance of Bray Wyatt. That could work. It's an idea. I'm throwing it out there. I'm tossing it out there, as they say. Speaking of tag teams, Charlotte and Becky versus Alicia Fox and Nikki Bella. Becky and Nikki start with collar and elbow tie-up, armbar ×2, an arm wringer, an arm snapmare, all by Nikki, all great psychology, all working the arm. Becky pins down, I gotta figure out how to say this, because Becky locks in an armbar on Nikki. It's sort of anything you can do, I can do better type thing, but she does it in such a way that she's got her knee on Nikki's head as well. So not only is she barring the arm, but she's also trying to separate it from her body, which is one of those ragdoll scenarios. Corner chops by Charlotte, second rope sledge hammer by Alicia Fox to Charlotte's arm, continuing the story. We're all working on each other's arms. It's great. Knee drop by Charlotte, you know, the running, rolling knee drop that her dad does, and she does just like her dad. Alicia boots Charlotte off the apron, bridging Northern Lights suplex by Alicia Fox, of all people, is great, and it's one of those, like, yeah, you know that these, you know, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Alicia Fox are not from NXT, so they're not going to get the credit that they deserve, ever, and, you know, they're going to pull off some decent moves, but when you see this bridging Northern Lights suplex that Alicia Fox does, it's picture perfect. I dare you to go back and watch this match and tell me it's not. A trip by Nikki and a posted surfboard stretch, which is nice, because we're working on those arms, we're working on the back, we're working on the whole upper body section. Standing vertical suplex by Nikki. Double standing vertical suplex by Nikki and Alicia. Clothesline and a leg lariat by Becky. Pump handle suplex by Becky. Spear by Charlotte. Disarmor by Becky. And Becky and Charlotte get the win. It's good. All the girls, Sasha, Becky, Charlotte, all get the win. We're going to get those wins back on SmackDown. I pretty much guarantee it, like we did last week, where Team Bella ran wild. Oh, yes. Unfortunately, I won't be able to talk about it this week because you have 2 more days to get your questions in for the Q&A, which I will be recording Wednesday night, as you guys know. Orton versus Owens. And they said it a lot on commentary. KO versus RKO. Sheamus on commentary, talking about the seemingly endless rivalry that he has with Randy Orton. Both men trade punches and Owen bails. Both men brawl on the outside. Orton eats the steps and Owens eats the rail. Clothesline by Orton, and Orton stomps. You know, stomp on the hand, stomp on the head, stomp on the other hand, stomp on the foot, stomp on the other foot. He just takes a walk around type of thing. Awesome dropkick by Orton. As usual, brawl on the outside. Orton eats post. Follow-away slam into the rail by Owens. Takes us into the commercial break. Owens rides a headlock because he's a bad guy. What did I tell you guys? These heels are the nicest heels you can ask for. They know that you're all busy people. You might be doing some other stuff while you're watching the show. You might lose track of who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. Hey, I'm Kevin Owens. Just to remind you, I'm still a bad guy. Here's my headlock. It's good. Clothesline and a running senton by Owens. Elbows, headbutts, and mocking the Orton pose by Owens. It's good. And we have more mosquitoes, which is not so good. Both men trade uppercuts. Backbreaker by Orton, as he does. Clothesline and a springboard knee drop by Owens. Rolling clotheslines and a power slam by Orton. Cradle suplex by Orton. Hangman by Owens. Orton tosses Owens over into the guardrail. That's when Sheamus takes his moment to strike. Sheamus jumps Orton. Cesaro comes out to save Orton. Brawls with Sheamus and Owens by himself. Pop-up powerbomb from Owens to Cesaro. And suddenly, Sheamus and Orton become irrelevant because we're looking once again at this Owens versus Cesaro scenario, which I really hope comes to fruition at SummerSlam. But the heels stand tall again, which is fine, because that needs to happen. Cena versus Rollins for the United States Championship. Now, guys, I said this in the little opening bit. I give Cena a lot of stick, and I tune in with you guys who give Cena a lot of stick, and it's deserved. Now, I will say this year he has, really turned a corner, and we've all collectively sort of said, like, where has this Cena been for the past 10 years and all that, and all those comments are deserved. Where we recognize the positive, it's deserved. Where we crap on him on the negative, it's deserved. But in this match, I'm sorry, if you don't respect the guy after this match, then you're a heartless fuck who's just going with the YWC rulebook. Going on, going forward. No interruption, no interference, no nothing in this match either, which is great considering, they're booking Rollins like a cowardly heel. That's another page out of that book that we like to talk about. Rollins works the arm, and a headlock by Cena. Shoulder tackle by Cena, and Rollins bails. Snapmare by Cena, and a headlock. Shoulder by Cena, hip toss, and boots by Rollins. Both men trade punches, and Rollins rides a headlock. Because Rollins, of all the heels, Rollins should be the example. I told you, the heels are nice guys. In case you forget that your WWE World Heavyweight Champion is also a heel, here's your headlock. Just thank him once in a while. Hop on Twitter. Hey, Rollins, thanks for the headlock. It's good. We come back from commercial break, and Rollins, like a fucking boss, is still riding the headlock. Cena eats turnbuckle, vertical suplex by Rollins by 2. Cena hits a shoulder tackle by 2, enziguri by Rollins, and a corner splash. Side slam by Cena and a second rope DDT. Rollins tosses Cena out and then hits him with a suicide dive. Top rope knee by Rollins is always nice. Electric chair facebuster by Cena, I wasn't expecting, to be quite honest with you. Both men trade punches, and Rollins nails a high knee. Like, they're trading punches. Rollins pulls himself up, high knee. And this is where the match changes. This is where the match, I don't want to over-exaggerate because I'm not saying these guys are wusses or anything like that, but this match becomes uncomfortable after this moment because you see Cena, and big guy that he is, crumples to the corner, and you wonder why. And you see literally the fountain of blood that's pouring out of his nose and out of his mouth and whatnot. And you see, as soon as he turns around, his nose is instantly like twice as big as it's supposed to be. And it's sort of like he has a knuckle about here sticking out of his nose. It's fucking gross. I will say that. Cena is fucked up. He's getting taunted by Rollins, but you can hear him talking to the ref. You can see him in the center of the ring, not, shaking it off, trying to get the cobwebs out and whatever. And you see the referee dive into the thing to take a look at him. They're trying. You see him. You can't tell what the doctor's saying, but you can see like he's really sort of shaking his hands at him, and are you okay? Like, you should be stopping this. Like, how are you gonna go on with that? Your nose has been fucking spread across your face. And Seth Rollins does some good killing time by taunting Cena, taunting the doctor, and whatever. But he does continue post to post turnbuckle powerbomb by Rollins. Because that's what you need when you've had the front of your face broken. It has to be said, after every other maneuver or so, from this point on, Cena rolls to the corner and sticks his head out of the ring. He's talking to the doctor, gets his face wiped off, and goes back in. Springboard stunner by Cena and a failed AA. Super kick by Rollins, and he eats a successful AA by Cena. Friggin' Rollins, this is somebody who he's dealing with an opponent that had his face just smeared across his face a second ago. Hits a top rope. Okay, I'm gonna try and lay this out for you in case you didn't see it. And if you didn't see it, I don't know why you're watching this video, to be quite honest. Do you remember Eddie Guerrero when he used to do the Three Amigos, where he would basically do a vertical and then twist it and do a vertical again? Well, Seth Rollins hits a top rope superplex, holds on to Cena, rolls through it, and turns it into a suplex driver. It is fucking gorgeous. If you don't go back and watch anything else from this show, go and watch that. What is also equally pretty is Seth Rollins pulling off the Phoenix Splash. And yes, I'm a bit biased. Unfortunately, he misses, and he gets locked in the STF by Cena. Cena locking in the STF with blood smearing down his face until he taps is something impressive to be seen. The crowd, the reaction of the crowd seeing how fucked up Cena's face is it affects you watching it on TV. And like I say, I'm not trying to over exaggerate this. Okay, he busted his nose, but he busted his nose. Like I say, if you look at his nose basically spreads out to both sides, and he looks like there's a knuckle in his nose about here. It's fucked up. I'm not saying that he died in the ring. I'm not saying that, Seth Rollins is the next Rey Mysterio. I'm not saying anything like that. I am saying, though, he had the center of his face broken in the middle of a match, and he kept going. And not only did he keep going, he must have known some of the big spots that were coming. So to sort of walk into the lion's den, so to speak, after that, I really did, in this match, I don't want to sound like a sap here, I gained a lot of respect for Cena. in this match. As a guy, as the character, he still has the flaws. I'm not saying that this wipes all that out. But John Cena, the man behind the character, I already respected the hell out of him. I respect the hell out of him a lot more after this. And this is great. And truth be told, we're going to see Rollins versus Cena at SummerSlam. This will play in. And yes, when they replay this next week, or when they replay this leading up to the pay-per-view, it's going to be made into black and white, and the things where the blood is showing isn't going to be shown. But they didn't... WWE didn't trip over themselves trying to hide it. They basically treated it like, yeah, this is what's happening right now. They treated it... The announcers, who, if you've read those notes that went around, you know, Reddit and Facebook and Twitter and all that, where the announcer rules and these are the things you're not... One of the things they do is you're not supposed to mention when somebody gets busted open. But Michael Cole and JBL, they sort of switched into a different gear, making people realize... not necessarily that the story suddenly became real, but the reality of what just happened to his face. And I thought that was good, and I thought it was very well done. The commentators get a lot of shtick from a lot of people. I think they handled that incredibly well. Cena, like I say, boss effort tonight. I can't take anything away from the guy tonight, because even with the busted nose, even without that spot, even without the added without the added color, as they say, this was a pretty fucking good match, and he made Rollins look like $1 million. Cena's nose sold for Rollins was something I saw on Twitter, and it's absolutely true. Like, Cena made him look like $1 million. Cena kept going to keep making him look like $1 million, even after he was fucked up, and like I say, all the power to him, and big load of respect for John Cena tonight. I'm not saying I'm gonna, turn coat and become one of the big Cena apologists, because those flaws, like I say, are still there. But this was a big, as far as my personal opinion of John Cena, this was a big turning point. I'm not gonna lie. As for the rest of it, the Diva Revolution, which is becoming a cliche hashtag, but it's rolling along. We're gonna get Owens versus Cesaro. We got a decent amount of stuff bubbling up in the tag team division. We've got, obviously, Undertaker versus Brock is gonna loom over everybody's head until Summer Mania. But underneath that, you got Rollins versus Cena, which after tonight should be quite interesting. I think that's it, and it is in fact ridiculous o'clock in the morning. So with that being said, I will say you've got about 48 hours to get your questions in for Ask the Phoenix. I will be recording that sometime Wednesday night. It'll be up sometime Thursday morning, which means there is no fights on Wednesday night this week. The panel is coming up for Summer Mania. Everything else is sort of rolling along as it is. For those of you that I've already taken a peek at the questions for Ask the Phoenix. I've already got a great reaction. Like I say, if you haven't put your questions in yet, you got 2 more days. James, this means you. I've been Spaz, your YWC Realities Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.